Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Today is September 28th, 2016. Absolutely beautiful day here in LA. Slightly muggy, but you know what? We still live in paradise. So I hope wherever you are today, you make it a day filled with paradise. Remember, you're worthy just because you are. Our show, your show, the Dr. Levi Show, is about giving you strategies to live the best possible life that you can live. It's about reminding you to stay in that place of ever expanding gratitude and to know and understand that you matter, you count, and also to take steps to make your life better every day. You can do that. Simply take a step every day. If you want to get fit, well, start a walking program. If you have difficulty jogging or running, no problem. What about swimming? If you don't want to swim, what about just getting in a pool and walking in the pool or holding on to the side of the pool and kicking your legs? The goal is to do something every day to stay fit. You really want to think about how can I honor my body? How can I do things to make my body recognize and feel loved and be loved and know that I appreciate it? Because think about it. You know, your body, you take it wherever you go. So don't you want to take a healthy, happy, fit, wonderful body filled with creativity and passion and knowing that everything that you do is for the greater good. Not simply for yourself, but for the greater good. It's really about giving more, being more, loving more, forgiving more, and knowing that with every day, there'll be some bumps and some stumbles and some challenges. But you know what? That's okay because the world is perfect with you and for you, and the world is not perfect. So, by definition, we're here to make it a better place, a more perfect place with our imperfections. Isn't that an interesting statement? With our imperfections, we make the imperfect world more perfect. I think that's very true. So, I want to tell you the show today will be filled with thoughts about how to make your life better, affirmations about meditation, and about your image. What is the image that you want to project to the world? You know, one guy that I met a long time ago, who was a friend of mine, who has a salon here in Beverly Hills. Actually, two of them I'm thinking of actually. One was Lady D, and she actually recently passed. She was just an outstanding woman. Just her name was Diana LeBung, and just phenomenal woman. And whenever I would see her, she'd always say, she was an esthetician. So a friend of mine gave me a birthday gift to go there to her place and get a facial. So I never had this done before. So she said, no, you're going to come in, we're going to work on your skin, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, great, I'll go. But when we were there, she talked to me about image, and she talked to me about skincare. And I told her, I said, one day I want to have my own skincare line. I want to have my own teeth whitening line. We talk about all these things. And she said, Dr. Levi, the key is one thing. When you want to think about your image and when you want to think about how you look, just think about doing one thing. And she said, that is being authentic and real. She said, when you're authentic, people know that. They appreciate that because so often they don't get a lot of that. And she said, if you do that and simply treat everyone the way you want to be treated and know and understand that every body type has its own perfection, she said, you are on the road. And I just love that statement from her. There was another person that I sent my mom to when she was here to get her hair done, and his name was Elgin Charles. So Elgin and we spoke, and he told me, he said, you know what my motto is, Dr. Levi? My motto is really simple. It doesn't cost to look beautiful, it pays. And I thought that was so funny, but actually there's a lot of power in that. And he's a very, very successful hairstylist here in Beverly Hills, actually internationally. So I share that with you today because image is about what you want it to be about. If it's about your face, your clothes, whatever, it's really the whole package. But guess what? That whole package is actually you. You're the package. You're the gift. You're the great one. It's not simply the clothes. Excuse me. It's not simply the clothes. Yeah, your clothes can help to embellish our look maybe, but the bottom line, it's you. It's the energy that you have. That's what's most important. Well, today I want to talk about some health issues that I've gotten a lot of emails about, and my team and I have talked about many times. And so we're gonna attack this from two different prongs. Number one, I'm going to talk about gamer health. And 2, I'm going to talk about diabetes. And 3, I'm going to talk about fitness. Now, with those 3 things, I want to go very sequentially so that everybody can get a real good understanding of the basics of everything that I want to talk about here. So let's begin. So for the gamers out there, I take care of a lot of gamers because I am the gamers doctor, the esports doctor. So, and also I want to remind everyone, this Saturday, Twitch TV will be our debut show talking to gamers nationally and internationally about their health, about fitness, about how to game properly, about how to increase your actions per minute, and also, of course, how to stay healthy and how to prevent injuries. Because, taking care of gamers internationally, I see many of them with tendonitis of the wrist, of the fingers, of the elbow, of the hand, carpal tunnel syndrome, cubital tunnel syndrome. So our show this Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch TV will be specifically focused about prevention and gamers' health. I think you're going to really enjoy the show. My team and I were really working on bringing you the most salient points possible to get you healthy, but more importantly, how to prevent injury. I want you to have a gaming career that's your best. I want you to be successful. I want you to be healthy. I want you to know and understand that if you have the basic principles about fitness, health, and well-being, you can apply that, of course, to your gaming career. You don't want a gaming career that's maybe 2 years or 3 years. You want to extend that 7, 8, 10 plus years if you can. If you're playing CSGO, League of Legends, Call of Duty, whatever your game of choice is, my goal as the gamer's doctor, the esports doctor, is to get you healthy, feeling great, and having a long, extended, drama-free, injury-free career. That's what it's about. So I hope you join us this Saturday on Twitch TV at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I also want to tell you about one of the most common things I see with gamers here in the U.S., and that is tendonitis of the wrist as well as carpal tunnel syndrome. Well, so let's go from the basics. The bottom line is this. You have to think about how well your desk, your keyboard, your mouse, your joystick, or your controller, whatever you're using, how ergonomically balanced are you sitting? So number one, when you're sitting there gaming, make sure you don't roll your shoulders forward. Make sure, I'm gonna do a side profile here. Make sure your shoulders are squared, your back is straight, your head is up, and that you're not rounding your shoulders down. That's very, very important because posture will maintain your body. That's the bottom line. It's about spinal alignment. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that. Keep your shoulders upright, your neck is relaxed, and you're focused on your keyboard. And of course, your keyboard should be 16 to 18 inches away from your line of sight. And with the keyboard, if you can, of course, it's always better to have an ergonomically balanced keyboard, if possible. Now, many times I'll get emails from individuals saying, Dr. Levi, I'd like to get an ergonomic keyboard. Is there any that you recommend? Well, I'm working on my own design right now of an ergonomic keyboard, and eventually that'll hit the market, and that's the one that I'll recommend, to be honest with you. Some of them, I think, they have the basic ergonomics, but they're not the best. And for myself, as a hand, wrist, elbow orthopedic surgeon, my goal is to give you the best, not something mediocre, not something that's half done or half baked, but to give you the best because your body is your first instrument for life. And remember, if you have your health, that's the first gift. You have a lot, just your health alone. So if you have a keyboard that's ergonomically balanced, great. But many people tell me, well, Dr. Levi, it's just so expensive. And it could be from Israel to Dubai to Mozambique to Australia to New Zealand to Toronto, New York, Utah. The questions come in from all over the world. The bottom line is this. Get a keyboard that works for you and that works for your budget. And if you can, save to get a better keyboard and just make small changes and try to get the best, and finally, you'll get it. But don't stress about that. And of course, I don't recommend that you stop gaming if you don't have the best because, trust me, I know what it's like to not have a lot. Being in school for so many years and with so much sacrifice, I get it. I really do. But I do want you to, number one, not have any stress about that, not have any guilt about it, and simply do the following. Do what you can to get the best results. Now, not only the keyboard is an issue, of course, but also the chair. You have to have a chair that works for your body. So by that, I don't recommend that you're gaming by sitting on a Swiss ball. I've gotten comments asking me, well, Dr. Levi, can I just game by sitting on a Swiss ball, which will strengthen my core? Yes, it may strengthen your core somewhat. However, if you're gaming, you really want to have a chair that has great back support, that has a comfortable cushion, and that your feet can sit squarely on the ground a little more than shoulder width apart. All right. So I don't recommend gaming in a chair that's very hard, that has no give or pull. You want to make sure that your body feels the comfort of the chair. All right. Excuse me. Now, I also want to share this with you. It's not only the chair, of course, and the keyboard, but the mouse. Now, depending on how quickly you're gaming, you can set the sensitivity of the mouse. So, depending on if it's low or high sensitivity, it takes more movement of your hand to actually click on something to get the result that you want. Now, with that said, I recommend the following. Try the mouse at a very high elevated sensitivity, and then try the mouse at a low sensitivity and see what works for you. Now, one thing I want to go back and revisit, and that is the issue of the keyboard. It's so important that when you're using the keyboard or the mouse, that you're not flexing your wrist or extending your wrist extensively. Your hand should be like this. I'm going to do this from the side. This is a neutral position. So this is flexion of the wrist. This is neutral position, and this is extension of the wrist. So when you're gaming, you don't want to be like this or like that. You really want to keep your hand in this plane of motion with your wrist like that, straight basically. So I say that because you can actually prevent a lot of injuries in gaming if you do that. Because if you overextend or overflex your wrist, you can develop tendonitis of your extensor tendons. Let's go over that. The extensor tendons, it's the back of your wrist. The flexor tendons allow your hands to come down like this. This tendon, the FPL, flexor pollicis longus tendon of your thumb, as well as the FDS and FDP tendons of your other fingers. And that's the flexor digitorum superficialis and the flexor digitorum profundus tendons of your other fingers. There's also for the thumb, it's flexor pollicis brevis tendon, but bottom line is the tendonitis is mainly in the fingers. Now I want to say this. We talked about this many times. I've blogged about it. I've written many articles about it, and that is it is so very, very, very important that you take a break when you're gaming. A 5-minute break every hour is not going to do anything but help you. So, excuse me again. So a 5-minute break will do nothing but help you. So how do you do that? You just take that break, you put your hands in warm water, and you move your fingers in the water. You move your wrist in the water, flex and extend your fingers. It's so important that you do these things to really maintain proper health of your hand, but more importantly, to warm your hands up before you game, and then to take that 5-minute break every hour. It's really not that difficult. And you want to do this because you do want an extended career. You want to be able to game without pain, without any issue that will prevent you from gaming at your best. Think about this. You reach a higher level of perfection with what? With practice. So you have to practice. Don't forget, many of the gamers that I treat, they will work, literally work out, I call it, from 6 to 16 hours a day of gaming, 5 to 6 days a week. That's a lot. That is tremendous. Now, yes, the payoff is fantastic when you're winning. However, your body takes such a hit while you're practicing to get to that level to be super successful. So my goal is to bring you there. My goal is to get you there and have a sustained, proper career. I want that for you. And, I'll take your questions on Facebook. I take your questions on Twitter. I take your questions on all my social media platforms because I want you to be healthy. I want you to enjoy your life. I want you to know that gaming is a great career if you're not injured. But many of you know, as well as I do, that you play often when you're injured. You play when you have pain. Well, I don't want you to do that. I want you to play any game that you want, from CSGO to League of Legends to OSU to Call of Duty. I want you to play all of those and any other games without any pain, without any drama. So I hope this helps. Um, my goal is to help you. My goal is about prevention and about getting you to optimize your life, not simply your image, but optimize your life because your life is what you take with you. It's you. You take you wherever you go. So I want you to be healthy. I want you to feel good about yourself. Now, today I also want to talk about one health issue. Excuse me. I'm just clearing my throat a lot today. I apologize. I think it's something in the studio. You know, one of our engineers, Jarvis, he shaved, and maybe his hair is like floating through the studio. I don't know, but I. But we got like hair particles all over the place. That's all I can tell you. You know, Jarvis, our engineer, looks like a baby now. Before he looked like my grandfather, but now he looks like my younger brother almost. I still look younger than he does though. We love Jarvis. You know, my team. You know, Janet and Nick and Aaron and Jamie and Darren. We love Jarvis, but I tell you, when he shaves, hair everywhere. Let me get back on target here. So let me talk about something that's really a pandemic in America right now, and that is childhood obesity and adult obesity. So let's talk about that. And as I talk about, if you're listening to the show today, I want you to not think about obesity with respect to judging someone else or even judging yourself. I want you to think about obesity as the following: a wake-up call to do something different without any self-judgment and just love yourself through the process of being more fit and more healthy. Now, why do we want to minimize diabetes? Why do we want, I should say, minimize obesity and being overweight in America? Well, because of the following. We want to stave off or push away the possibility of getting diabetes, cardiovascular disease, the number one killer of men and women in America, stroke, heart attack, myocardial infarction. We also want to minimize your possibility of getting arthritic joints because don't forget, the more weight that you carry, the more pressure on your joints, your knees, your hips, your ankles, your toes. Everything takes a hit when you have more weight on your body. So, again, we want to push off diabetes. And why diabetes? Because diabetes is one of the number one causes of preventable amputations in the country. So if you want your toes and your fingers and your legs, well, we don't want you to have diabetes. We want you to have your blood glucose level, your sugar level controlled. You know, one of my favorite aunts died about 15 years ago from diabetes complications. Marie Herpin was her name, and she actually was one of the women that took care of me when I was growing up. An extraordinary woman, a great woman, and she had really incredibly poorly controlled diabetes. And the interesting thing is, even though she did her best to control it with diet, her body just did not take the insulin well. It couldn't produce the insulin from her pancreas. Don't forget, your pancreas produces the insulin that your body needs. So she had type 1 diabetes. There are two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1, someone they're usually born with this, of course, and their pancreas just doesn't make the proper insulin, or it makes insulin that the body can't use as well. It doesn't make enough insulin, or it produces none. There's a wide range of issues associated with how the pancreas works dysfunctionally with respect to diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is actually a diabetes that you can get from not exercising, from eating improperly, from doing all those things that your body just doesn't like. Then your blood sugar levels can become out of control. And how do people usually present? Well, they start urinating a lot. They have a lot of fatigue. They're not thinking very clearly. Sometimes they feel very shaky. They feel very lethargic. And often they will have an appetite. They will just feel hungry often, even after they've eaten, but they often have a cotton mouth as well as dryness of their mouth and great thirst, even though they're urinating tremendously. So, you know, diabetes is also one of the top causes of preventable blindness in America, as well as for kidney dysfunction in America. So, you know, there are a lot of bad things about diabetes. So We often refer to it as the great thief because it takes so much. It takes away somebody's ability to walk, to feel their fingers, their toes. We always tell someone who has diabetes to not walk around with bare feet because often they'll have a neuropathy of their feet, meaning that they can't feel their feet and their toes, they can't feel their fingers really well. So if they have neuropathy and they're walking around barefoot, they may have something sharp pierce their skin, may get infected, and they may not even feel it until it is tremendously infected, which may necessitate an amputation or wound care. A lot of tremendously bad things can happen with diabetes. So I bring that up because obesity can be associated with that fact that if you are obese, you are at increased risk, of course, for developing diabetes. Now, when we talk about diabetes in children, again, more than a third of children, like adults, a third to almost two-thirds of adults to children are obese or overweight. That's a lot of people, a lot. So my goal here is to let you have tools that can help you to be more fit, to be more healthy, and to take these steps to do it yourself, where you're not dependent on going to the gym or going to talk to a trainer. No. The gym is where your body is. So, you don't need to go anywhere but where you are right now to work out, to do some exercises like squats, to walk in place, to run in place, to do burpees if you can, to do sit-ups. There's so many things, to do the plank position. There's so many things you can do right where you are. Now, when I say that too, often I'll get a little feedback from people saying, well, Dr. Levi, I just don't like exercising. Well, to that, I say, I'll tell you what my mother told me as a kid. And, when she put Brussels sprouts on my plate, and I would say, Mama, I don't want to eat this. I don't like it. And she'd always say, well, Levi, that's okay, baby. You don't have to like it. You just have to eat it. So it's the same with exercise. You don't have to like it, but you do have to do it. It's really non-negotiable. So I share that with you because you really want to give yourself the opportunity to enjoy exercise and not feel like it's punishment, because exercise is not punishment. Exercise is a part of the joy of life. It's a part of the joy of the human experience of what can I do to be fit, to be healthy? Well, we have to exercise and be mindful of our diets because we are what we eat, drink, and smoke. So I want to ask you to, drink less alcohol, to smoke less, to not smoke, and to be as healthy as you possibly can. It's so very, very important. Our show, the Dr. Levi show, my team and I, we're really about bringing you mindful strategies for your life, of how to make your life better, how to give you the opportunity to feel good about who you are, and where you are in the journey of life. Because wherever you are today, right now, it's a good place. I want you to feel good about that. I want you to feel good about you and not judge yourself, not think that you're going too slow. Excuse me again. Jarvis's hair floating. Again, I want you to just feel good about your life as you take these small steps to get fit and to be healthy. It's so important that you feel good about the journey. Not simply about, well, I want to feel good after I lose 30 pounds. When I lose 40 pounds, I'm going to feel good. When I have a six-pack, I'm going to feel good about me. When I can fit these size pants, I'm going to feel good. No. Feel good about you right now. Love and appreciate yourself right now. You're the only you in the whole universe. Think about that. There's only one of you. As I look across here and I see Jarvis, there's only one of him in the whole universe. There's only one of me. There's only one of Janet. There's only one of Adele. There's only one in the whole universe. So how phenomenal is that? I say that to you because it's not by mistake. It's by design. It's by design. So when you feel like, oh my God, I see all these people doing so well. Hey, universe, what about me? Don't think of that. Think, hey, they're doing so great, fantastic. I know my time is coming. I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to keep pushing forward. I'm not going to worry about what my bank account says I have. I know it's coming. I know it's going to happen. So feel good about the whole process. Love the process because the process is the joy of it. because the process gives us strength. The process gives us the opportunity to know that life is going to get better and better and better for us. You deserve that. You truly, truly do. Well, we're going to take a break here shortly. I want to tell you again, Twitch TV this coming Saturday, October 1st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal show. So I really look forward to having you share that with us because you can ask me questions. It'll be very interactive. More importantly, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I want you to join us. I also want to thank you, of course, for being on all our social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube. Just thanks. We appreciate you. Of course, Facebook, we really love Facebook, of course, because it gives us a chance to really, we can IM with each other sometime. It's just a great platform. So, again, from Facebook to Twitter, Instagram, thank you so much. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to bring on an interesting guest to share with you today. And I just thank you for joining us. This is Dr. Levi. We'll be right back in less than a minute and a half. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Levi, the Gamer's Doctor, Esports Doctor. Guess what? Twitch TV is coming your way. I'll start that channel on October 1st. I am beyond ecstatic, beyond elated, so get ready to game. I'll be gaming with you actually, and more importantly, giving you tips about prevention, how to prevent repetitive stress injuries, how to be healthy, how to be fit, how to be a winner in gaming, how to be the champion that you were born to be. So it's Dr. Levi. Join me October 1st, Twitch TV. I can barely contain myself. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Nos vemos en 2 semanas. Il faut que vous venez ici avec moi en 2 semaines. So come with me in 2 weeks, and please come and join me in 2 weeks for Twitch TV for the gamers. I hope you're ready. I am super excited. This is Dr. Levi. See you then. The Gamers and Esports Doctor, here to be of service to you. October 1st, Twitch TV, Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. See you there. Get ready. Drop it. Hey everybody. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Levi. Welcome back. So happy to have you with us. Again, I want to remind you to join us on Twitch TV this Saturday, of course, at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be a great show. It'll be very interactive. We'll take your questions, but more importantly, the show, like this show, the Dr. Levi Show, it's all about you. So I want to thank you for being a part of that. Then we're going to have a Q&A with all the gamers. That's going to be on October 19th. So that's going to be a wonderful show also to address things that the gamers want to know today, keeping everything very relevant. And then even bigger news, in November, we'll be at BlizzCon, so a lot to talk about there. It's really like a big E3 type event. So I want to ask you to please join us for that. And more importantly, thank you again so much for interacting with us on all our social media platforms. It's going to be fantastic. Now, I want to tell you about a wonderful guest that we have in our studio today. We really appreciate her taking her time to join us. As we talked about earlier, image is so much. It's so important that we look our best, that we have the best skin, that we have the best teeth, that we dress as well as possible. Well, we have an extraordinary woman on today who's been featured on many, many magazines. She's written blogs. She's traveled extensively nationally as well as internationally, giving her insights and her real keen, eagle eye about what makes someone not only look great the way they are, but what she can do to enhance their beauty. And she lives in this place of knowing and understanding that beauty comes from within. So you want to have the beauty from inside to out. And she's about maximizing your beauty internally as well as externally. So I want to welcome to the show the beloved and a woman who lives in this place of ever-expanding gratitude, Liana Chaouli.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being
Hi,
with us.
Dr. Levi. I'm so happy to be here.
It's great to have you with us. Let's talk about your life as an image consultant. I want to talk about your life growing up. what was that like to bring you on this journey to go from little baby girl, Leilani, to this great woman who is internationally recognized as someone who can really
Aw.
look at you and tell you, hey, let's make you more beautiful by doing this, this, and
Yeah,
this.
thank you for asking that. That's a really beautiful question. So my path, and unbeknown to me, my
Yes.
path started when I was a child. And I didn't realize it. You know, my mother always says, Liana, you know, you've been doing this work since you were a baby.
Wow.
You've been doing this since you were a young child.
Yes.
And I had my career. I am a custom clothing designer by trade.
Yes.
I believe that every human being is a masterpiece exactly the way they are.
Yes, I agree.
That we are who we are by God's grace and
Yes.
that we are God's light. And it is incumbent upon us to live in all our talents because not doing so is like spitting into the face of God.
Ooh, very powerful statement.
So when we shed our light, meaning when we hide it,
Yes.
and we hide who we are behind clothing that's too small or too big or ugly, or doesn't elevate us and up-level us to the level of who we are here to be,
Yes.
then we're basically spitting into the face of God. And it is incumbent upon us as human beings to start world peace here.
Yes.
Because world peace does not start at the borders of our country.
Absolutely.
So she used to say, you know, Liana, you've been doing this since you were a baby. And I said, wow. And I just let it go.
Yes, yes.
And one day she saw me speak at an image consultants convention. And she was in the back of the room. And when I said, does anyone have a question? She raised her hand, went to the microphone, and started telling the story, which was very moving. She said, you know, my little girl dressed me when I was young and very ill in bed. She would get the clothes and she would put them on the bed, and then she'd pull the covers off my face. And she'd say, Mommy, get dressed, because when you get dressed, you're going to feel beautiful, and then we can go out and do things together.
Yes.
And she said, I could not follow my daughter's invitation because I was so ill, but you can follow her invitation.
This is true.
Because you are now here, and the same girl that dressed me when I was young and ill
Can now
is the
dress
same woman who's dressed you today.
Very powerful.
So it is powerful in a way that the work has come together. I'm 57 today. You
Yes.
know, we've been doing this for 30 years all over the world.
Phenomenal.
I do it in German, Italian, English, Farsi,
Yes.
a little bit in French.
Yes.
And no matter where I go, Levi, it's the same thing. We all have at some point inside of us the question, am I good enough?
Yes.
And our closet is essentially a toolbox. It's a toolbox for dressing this masterpiece.
Absolutely.
It's our second skin. So the choices that we have is, well, am I going to up-level it, or am I just going to wear a slocky little dirty T-shirt?
Right.
And the truth is, it's not about money.
No.
It's
not
about
at all.
consciousness.
Yes.
It's about up-leveling. It's about putting a diamond into a gorgeous facet rather than sticking it into a paper bag.
Absolutely.
And that's who we are. We're diamonds
I-
on
I-
God's seashore.
I just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Now, where are you from? Where are you from? You
So-
born where?
So my parents are Persian.
Yes.
And I was born and raised in Germany.
Yes.
And I came to this country in 1985. The twist on that is that we're Persian Jews.
Yes.
And being raised in Germany in the 60s, right after the Second World War, was already very...
Tough.
Well, I don't want to say tough, but it was clearly not the place to be. We were a
I'm
minority. We were outcasts in a way. We didn't look German.
It wasn't easy. Could
It
not have
wasn't.
been
It wasn't easy.
No.
And
No.
I realized as a child even that, you know what, people are not by their color. People are not by their language.
Right.
But we treat them like that.
Right.
And so the truth is getting people into the wisdom and the knowledge of, listen, there's another masterpiece sitting there.
Of course.
What is, I always say to my students, seek the greatness in someone else rather than their guilt.
Very powerful statement also.
You know,
Yes.
we can do it in the mirror. That's the first place we want to do
True.
it. We want to look in the mirror. Where do I seek my greatness this morning? But we don't. We say, you know, my boobs are sagging, my butt's too big, I'm this, I'm that. And that conversation does not serve the
greater good.
brilliance or the greater good of the universe.
Right.
You know, on one of my business cards, it says, be proud of your assets, not ashamed of your flaws.
It's very true, too. I love it.
And
Love it.
but we don't, you know, we always go to the contraction. We go to the, this isn't great. And rather than focusing on that, the guilt.
You know, and I think many people do that because I think most are societally challenged to only look at the bad and only look at the less than versus look at the brilliance and beauty of what really is. And I also think many people are so used to downplaying their goodness to fit in. You know, I've always been very aware that I never want to fit in. I like being the odd man out.
I'm right there with you.
Exactly. It works for me. I'm okay about someone saying, "Oh, you're very unusual, Levi." Well, thanks. Thanks. I don't want to fit in. I think it's our uniqueness that really gives us a chance to shine the brilliance of God that lives within each and one of us.
Yeah. You know, I say that we're all a note in God's symphony.
Yes. And every note is important.
And every note is important and every note is different.
Yes.
You know, is it
Yes.
played staccato? Is it played adagio? Is it
Right.
played forte? Is
Right.
it so all of these pieces in this beautiful masterpiece, the
Yes.
facets of our diamond
Yes.
are only there for you. There will
Correct.
never be another one like you
Never,
in
never.
the entire universe.
Never. Only one.
Right, in the
Only
entire
one.
history, because
Right.
the shoulders upon who you stand, you know, what has made you who you
Yes.
are, the
Yes.
choices that you've made,
Correct.
what comes out of you as a creative creation of your life,
Yes.
that will never be the same.
Never. Never. And only one.
So this process of image therapy is the process of PhD in design of who we are.
Yes.
And I want people to know that it's a learnable skill. Style, authenticity, empowerment is a learnable skill. And really accepting who we are, not going against it,
Right.
but being with what's so. Being, these are my hands,
Yes.
this is my hair, this is my face, this is my skin. And rather than going against it and wanting to change it, we be with what's so and we up-level what's there to such a beautiful level. And that's a learnable skill.
Very much so. I think, too, what you're saying is the bottom line is feel good about who and what you are right now.
That's it.
Don't look for the bad. Look for the beauty of the great good that you have. And then live in that place of purpose and passion to make your life expand to the greater good of gratitude, knowing that you are worthy, number one. And number two, there's only one of you in the whole universe.
Right.
How phenomenal is that?
Right. You don't have permission to be somebody else. Somebody else is taken.
Exactly. Just do you.
Just do you
Yes.
and do it really, really well.
Absolutely.
And so to learn and to understand and to get the construct of it, there's a system you can learn. So I created something which my students study is called Your Essential Formula.
Yes.
Your essential formula consists of tangible things, which
Right.
is your body, your color, and then there's lots of non-tangible. So your voice is a very non-tangible thing, and if your voice is like this, then you're a very different person.
Exactly.
Do you see that?
Yes, yes, yes.
See, but we don't recognize that. So when we're standing in front of people and we're looking at them, we don't recognize or we don't pay attention, notice that, wow, that person's gait,
Yes,
their gaze,
yes.
their little voice, if it's like this, and it's a really big person,
Right.
but it's a little tiny voice. How does that all come together in this three-dimensional, living, breathing, moving masterpiece?
Right.
How do they walk?
Right.
How do they touch their lover? How do they serve you tea?
Yes.
How do they look at you?
Right.
Is their gaze intense and deep?
You're right.
And how, is their gaze soft and liquid like a running brook?
Exactly.
You know, so all of that makes up you.
It does.
And the more we pay attention to what makes up us, the more we can harness it,
Yes.
and the better we can reflect it onto the world rather than hide it.
Right. It's all about not hiding it, about really living out of the shadows of doubt and
That's
the
right.
shadows of judgment and the shadows of I am less than, I'm not enough.
Right.
You know, so often, you know, for example, if I'm talking to a conference, especially women's conference, which I love talking, is letting them know that they're perfect just the way they are.
That's
That
right.
their bodies are beautiful just the way
That's
they
right.
are. That their skin, their face, everything is perfect. You know, when I met Maya Angelou at UC Davis when I was a student there, medical student there, and she spoke, and I went up to her. There were a lot of people all around her, and I was looking at her, and I thought, well, I'm going to talk to her today. So I just waited and waited and waited. And finally, I was the last person there, and she said to me, she said, "I'm so glad you waited. I was waiting to see when you're going to walk away."
Aw.
And I said, no, I couldn't. I wanted to tell you how wonderful you were when you spoke. She said, I saw a lot of people tonight. She said, when in the audience, every time I looked at you, your skin and your smile and your eyes, they captivated me. And I wanted to give you a hug. And so she gives me a hug. And I said, well, why do you want to give me a hug? She said, there's something different about all the lights that were here. Everybody had a light. She said, there was something different about
By
you.
your light.
I've always remembered that. And that was maybe 12, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
but it's as fluid in my mind now.
It's real.
It's real. It was real.
Yeah,
you know?
Levi, and that piece that some of us are born with, you know,
Yes.
maybe it comes from our history when we were children because we were fighters from the beginning. Our souls came in to be fighters. I know that my soul came in and was determined and
Yes.
is still determined.
Yes.
I'm fierce.
Yes, you have to be.
I am fierce about the presence of my clients and my students,
Right.
and I'm a stand for and a commitment for men and women to rise up out of the discomfort of mediocrity
Yes.
and to rise up and to be who they are.
Right.
And that isn't always comfortable.
It's not.
You know?
It's not.
I always say the only thing that's uncomfortable is the G-string.
Well, I don't know about that one. I haven't had that experience yet.
The only thing that's uncomfortable is the G-string. But if you choose to speak,
Yes.
which speech is a declaration of possibility.
Yes, it is.
I can say, you know what, I don't like it. Or I can say, I'd like something different.
Yes.
But if we cover it up, meaning if we hide our distinctions and feelings and being in just under one blanket word, uncomfortable,
Right.
we're never going to get to the bottom of it.
Never.
You know?
Never.
You can say to someone, you know, it makes me sad. But in America, and I see this distinction hugely because I travel all over the world, people use words and language in a very different way.
Yes.
And in America, often things are not okay. You're not allowed to say this. You're not allowed to say that. But in Farsi, there is a saying. It says, "Beshino befarmo betamad yemani darad,"
Which
means, put your butt on that chair and sit yourself down and please have a seat on my throne. All mean the same thing. And I created one in English which says, mean what you say what you mean, and don't say it mean.
I love that also.
So the creation of
Yes.
who we are in language, with our bodies, with distinctions to our bodies, I'm short, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that, my husband doesn't love me, all of those conversations are contractions.
Very much so.
We can take a conversation of contraction and we can change it to a conversation of expansion.
Yes.
So an example would be, I don't need anything. You can change that to an expansion to I have everything I need.
Yes. Yes. Now and always. Yes.
Always.
Always, always.
And the beauty of language is that we can live language in creation of what's possible in the future.
Absolutely.
In this moment, because that's all we have.
Right. Because you know, when you say that, it made me think of this French expression of my French mother used to say this all the time. It was débarrasser la table, you know, which is to keep the table clean.
Yes.
And she'd always say you apply that to your life. You keep
Yes.
things clean so you can go forward and know that you're perfect just the way you are. Just go forth clean. You know, as an image consultant, as really as an image therapist, you deal with men and women. What do you find is their greatest challenges?
Oh, wow, that's a big question, but a great question. So I can share with you that men don't have all the negative conversations. They have them.
Yes.
However, when they get in front of a professional, like Jack Canfield,
Yes.
Chicken Soup for
Oh
the
yeah,
Soul.
great guy.
He's a client, he's a good friend,
Right.
and he says, you know, Liana, people can't afford not to do this work because it makes so much sense. You know, there's a system, you can learn this, there's a little bit of psychology, there's a lot of transformation.
Yes.
So this process is, I say, I provide transformation through the empowerment of wardrobe.
Yes.
So that's a tool. He says everybody should do this. So men have a much easier time taking this information and using it to their benefit.
Yes.
When it comes to women, we, because of the psychological structure that we have, because of our worrying,
Yes.
I say worry is the misuse of imagination. Stop doing it, it doesn't serve you.
It doesn't.
They have a much harder time letting go of the past. Often I see that in women. And I say, as a people,
And you're saying past hurts, not past joys, but past
past
hurts.
hurts. And I can tell you that our past hurts, when they show up in this moment but are unacknowledged as such, they mess up our future.
Yes.
So we take the past, bring it into the present. So there's many stories I can tell you of women who were abused, women who were mistreated, had an incident as a child. I call them contracts.
Right.
You know that G-string?
Yes.
Children go into their mother's drawers and they find things and they play with them and they
Right.
come out with the G-string on their head and they go
Right.
to the mom and go, Mom, look at that. I
Right.
just found a new toy.
Right.
I'm going to go to school like this today.
Right.
And the mother, she only has to do one negative gaze.
Mm-hmm.
And the child in that moment makes a contract.
Oh, yes.
And that contract unknowingly gets taken into the adulthood.
Yes.
It
So
gets taken.
they're stuck in that
They're
place
stuck
of
in a
less
place.
than.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Yes.
Oh, that was bad. I'm bad. So the distinction between shame and guilt is I'm bad or I did something bad.
Right.
So the shame sticks and then it shows up in weight. It shows up in negative thinking.
Right.
And so the way to break through it is you can actually use clothing. And I swear to you, I see this every day. In 30 years, I can hold up an earring to a client and they have a visceral negative reaction. I can pull out a garment from a rack on stage in front of 2,000 people and the woman can break down because the connection to her past hurt, that her father who abused her and the color of the dress that I'm showing her is the same color of the shirt the father was wearing.
Yes.
And she has no idea that those two are connected.
But she still has a visceral reaction to that experience.
Because it lives in our muscles. Right. Dressing is an embodied action. But most of humanity doesn't know that what they're doing is reacting. Yes. It's not clear. There's no mindfulness going on. Do you know why you don't like something?
It's a very good
Most
question.
people don't.
Right.
They just go, no, I don't wear plaids and I don't wear red and that's my color and I know. And I'm like, okay, well then let's go dig deep.
Right. Let's find out why.
Right. Because if you have a really heavy reaction, not a mindful, conscious choice, but if you have a reaction to something, there's something at the bottom of that pit.
Yes.
So let's go find it because it is running you. You're not choosing.
Makes sense.
And that's what this work is all about.
You know, because this work that you do it's intense because it does have it embodies a psychology about change. It also embodies your passion and spirit to really go forth and make the world better and to make people better, not only through their clothes, but to give them the lessons and the internal work about why you think of something the way you do. Right. Why do you dress the way you do? And how can we change it to make not only it better, to make you optimize your life to feel better?
All right. Notice. The beginning of this work is just notice. Like I don't even go to clothing in the beginning. When I put clothing on a human being, male or female,
yes,
I never have a mirror there.
Wow.
And the first question I ask is I say, what does it feel like?
It's the feeling you want.
Yeah, look, our clothing is closer to us than our lovers, Levi.
Oh, absolutely.
It's closer to us women than our breastfeeding children. And we don't give it the credit. And it is the relationship that we have with the clothes and the history that makes us suffer.
Right.
Because most women use clothing to hide. They do not use clothing to elevate the beauty of who they are.
Yes.
They say, my butt's too big, I gotta hide it, I have to wear a long jacket, I can't show my legs, my husband doesn't like this, I don't know about my boobs. So it's always a shielding.
Right.
But the truth is that clothing is a platter upon which you are presented. It's not to be a cloak.
Right. Or a hideout.
It's to be a crown.
Yes. Yes.
And so claiming our crown in the area of the masterpiece that we are is directly a visceral reaction to this piece. You know, when we slide a cashmere sweater over our body, it's a sensual act.
Very much so.
You know, and so when you wear a shirt and it hurts or a belt doesn't feel good or shoes aren't the right size, it recognizes us.
Right.
And it shows up in our faces.
Yes.
You know, people are like, I don't like this. And I say, no, comfort is the utmost importance when it comes to dressing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so when people come to me and they say, well, Liana, can I do this with you? And is it going to be comfortable? And what kind of clothes are you going to give me? Look, we just came off of a 3-day event in Palm Springs.
Yes.
At the Ritz-Carlton. And there were women there whom I had never met before. And they show up to the event, and I always pray, I shop, I bring the stuff to the event. And it is mind-blowing to me how God works, Levi. I'll pull out a piece of clothing.
Yes.
I'll say, can you please put this on? She's got a face on hers like, no way in hell
Right.
am I ever going to put on this frock.
Right.
You are crazy. And I have a commitment to all of my students all over the world. I say, trust me, please trust me,
Yes.
that I will never make you look bad.
Right.
Never. I'm always here to up-level you. And it has never happened that somebody has gone backstage, put something on, and come out, and they didn't look like $1 million.
That's fantastic.
They always do. And it's amazing for me to see it because I have this saying that I say, trust is given, trust is not earned.
That is so true.
So when you trust me, I get to be my best self.
Absolutely.
When I trust you, it's the same thing.
Yes.
There's no barrier. There's no armor.
None.
There's no Iron
And no
Man.
filters. No
There's
filters.
no filters.
No.
So if we can stay open to the possibility, then our life is going to be like a very different magical experience.
I love that, Liana. Just fantastic. Well, do you have any events coming up, and how can people reach you?
You can reach us best at lianasgifts.com.
How do you spell that?
LianasGifts.com.
Fantastic. Do you have any upcoming events that we can let our audience know about?
We have things happening in January. So if you go to lianasgifts.com, that's what it is. I have a beautiful gift for you. It's a video series.
Fantastic.
And you can learn. You can stay connected with us. We would love to teach you, have you. We have live events that we do. And I'm just delighted. My passion, Levi, is to uncover 1 million stars. Now it's 1 billion stars.
Yeah, it's going to happen with you, with your passion, your creativity, your authenticity, and more importantly, with this gift that you are to us, because you're here about service. And I think when we're about service, I believe the universe blesses us unconditionally and ever expandingly. So I thank you for being the great woman that you are, and for blessing us with your truth, with your passion, and with all the gifts that the universe has given you. You're really a joy.
Thank you.
So I really want to thank Liana for being with us. If you were here right now in the audience, you would feel the energy that sort of drips off her like liquid blessing for all of us. It's really just really amazing. I just have to thank you. I feel it was like a meditation almost. It felt really fantastic. So I thank you.
Let me undress your spirit so we can dress your body.
Oh, I love that. This body needs a lot of work. So trust me, a lot to do here. Well, this is Dr. Levi. I want to really thank you for joining us. I want to remind you, to join us this Saturday on Twitch TV. And again, it's Twitch TV at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We'll be talking about gamers' health, about how to be healthy, but more importantly, it's really about how to expand your life, to live in that place of ever-expanding gratitude, and to know and understand that you matter. The universe is really conspiring for your greater good. It's not simply about getting. You want to really ask yourself, what can you give away? Because you only get that. If you're willing to give it away, you'll get so much more. So, live in that place of gratitude. You matter. Our show is about giving you strategies to have a phenomenal life, not a mediocre life. This show is not about mediocrity. It's not about being at the bottom of the heap. No, it's about being a leader. It's about making change. It's about activism as well as advocacy. And I believe if you do your best to make a change, then you become the change. Gandhi said it so well. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Not that difficult. So I want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here next week. Be kind to the veterans. Those women and men are the true heroes of this wonderful country. And know and understand that you matter. See you soon. I want to thank our guest. She was amazing. LianasGifts.com.
Liana's Gifts.
All right. God bless you guys. Bye.